The team gets called into a northern Iowa priority case. How much of it is with them and how much of it's the property?
Priority case. They want us in there as soon as possible. There's some children involved and it seems to be kind of the focus of a lot of the activity. Carrie.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's a century-old home. No exact specific year. I'd asked for the abstract too, and I don't think he has...
This is Eric.
Eric. Hi, nice to meet you.
Carrie. And
Rafi.
Hi, welcome home.
it wasn't until after we moved in here that they started having lung problems. The doctors put them on just about every antibiotic they could.
They're not real guns, but they come out and they can scan it and tell you if it's lead. I don't know if that's what it is.
It was Halloween, and I saw like a cloak with a hood.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This case brings on a new guy. Will it be too much for him?
We have a new person. I'm excited to get to know him.
Hi, I'm Rafi. I'm the new guy. Well, I'm new here in the group.
As the night progresses, possible activity draws the team's attention.
I saw a shadow, but I'm fairly sure it was just the reflection off the flashlight on Eric.
I'm removing this rug.
It needs to go out the trash.
Yeah.
And then go this way, something this way. So
That was to the left.
The evidence speaks for it more so, and we base our cases off of that.
I don't know if they're those or what. There's something else.
It's right here. I got the chills. Just
Alright, are you in here making noises?
We heard you. That was kind of cool.
And then a fellow investigator requests help.
So we got the request of assistance by a fellow colleague and peer of mine, a founder of CIPI, believes that there's to be attachment with him, and he wants us to go in there. He wants a second opinion.
I kind of just stopped right here because I seen something that looked normal this way. Probably noticed things starting to happen a week or two after the investigation. I was hearing her screaming and crying in her sleep, but at the time I didn't realize what was going on with whatever it was, and I didn't realize at the time it was possible that somebody could influence me to do that.
Finally, a new case manager introduced.
Our search for case manager has come to a close, and we have decided to go with an investigator named Mary.
Now I'm the case manager. I'm really excited about this one.
She wasn't letting it. She wasn't comfortable with it.
Bad, but I think we can do it. We have a good.
I thought it went really well until Kim showed up.
Because when I got back to and went over,
And just hang out there as if I was living there.
Excited to be back at Edinburgh Manor.
fascinated with paranormal.
Okay, so this investigation we've got handed to us, it was a priority case. They want us in there as soon as possible. There's some children involved, and it seems to be kind of the focus of a lot of the activity. They moved from one place, and they've had some activity there. We have some theories on why it might have followed them from Denver. but we're going to go in there, investigate, and see if it's something that might be attached to the people or if it's actually in the property. I'll go over some of the background here that we have. I'll try to keep it to not the paranormal experiences, if you want to go in cold, which I understand, and being sensitive, that's what we want to do to validate it typically. This one I'm pretty excited about too because we have a new guy. There's 2 new people that joined our team recently. The other one couldn't make it tonight. And as we know, Kim's going through some health issues still. I sat down with her. Normally she would do this part of it, but she's stepping down from this case, and so I went ahead and did this. And what we have here, it's a century-old home. No exact specific year. I'd asked for the abstract too, and I don't think he has, doesn't know where that is, or if he doesn't have it, so that way, for us to look through the abstract. 3-bedroom house, has an upstairs, a main floor, and a basement. I moved in July 2013, so fairly recently.
I have no thoughts, don't even really know where we're going, even though Eric's told me, and I'm excited to get going.
Some activity with them back in Denver, but it was a little lighter before, so it wasn't the same stuff as they're going through now. Possible.
You said they moved in June?
July.
July this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It has had an oppressive form of activity, meaning, you know, the tendency of giving you depression or giving you thoughts that you normally wouldn't have.
We have a new person. I'm excited to get to know him.
Hi, I'm Rafi. I'm the new guy. Well, I'm new here in the group.
Raphael, or Rafi, as he goes by, joined us, and this will be his first one. He has some history in paranormal. He's done some things before, but this is the first time a professional group setting.
Well, I'm fascinated with paranormal things, and I used to practice Santeria, so I have a couple experience before. This is my first investigation actually with a group, and I'm going to be shadowing the group Paranormal Endeavors. I'm really excited.
Intrigued and exciting to work with him and see what he can bring to the team. Here, they've had more health issues since moving into Iowa.
I'm going to jump the gun here. You probably can't tell me because we're going cold. So the kids are having interactions with what might be there?
Yes. Yep. And I'd asked...
Obviously the 2 youngest ones aren't telling anyone.
Mm-hmm. And the 2-year-old's going through some speech therapy to be able to help him out because he's having troubles already with some of his words. Huh?
Yes, delays.
Yeah. So that's what they're going through with that. So they won't really probably say too much to us. That's understood, you know. So neighbors may have suspect activity, just the way that they get their vibes off the neighbors. It's like they know something.
Because I don't have those kind of gifts, or I haven't developed those gifts, so I have no feelings about what's going on. I haven't seen a lot since we've been on investigations.
Questions, man? We're just going to go there and try to figure out first if it's actually attached to the property or attached to them. And that's why I said, because they'd asked, do you want us to be there? And I said, well, I think it's a good idea. Rafi also has some medical background, so it would be nice to also have that asset on the team as well.
I just asked, like, if they say something about the old house, if they got what kind of activity or something.
Yeah. Yeah, at their old house, he didn't go into too much detail about the types of different activities that had happened there, but they had moved from that, and then they moved into Iowa, and activity is still there, but it's worse, or it's increased, it's different in nature, so that's some things that we got to figure out. In terms of the miracle that had happened, there's a couple examples he gave me, but one of them was a near-death experience that he had, and if you know anything about NDRs or near-death experience, there's a lot of times when you come back from that, your whole perspective has changed. You're, you know, or you're very confident that you know what's going on after our life here, and so you're maybe not as scared of death, or your abilities may have enhanced. There's some people that come back from near-death experiences and then they have psychic gifts. So that's just an example.
Or you can explain it to me, because I know I've seen it like as ghost hunting things, but I don't know what it is. So
Santeria, well, kind of like voodoo. Santeria, right?
Do you work with spirits?
Yeah, you work with spirits, you work with like entities, Let me see how I'm gonna say, like, the word saints. It's pretty much, you know, like pretty much. Well, not all of them, but pretty much, like in Puerto Rico, the Santeros. They're Catholic. Just put it like that. And they believe in the Catholic saint, like Virgin Mary, Saint Lazarus, Saint Michael the Archangel. Right now, I got a Lewan in the house. He's protecting me. So, just in case. Right now, this necklace I got Lewan too.
Okay.
They're protecting me. Every, how do you call these things? Beans?
Beads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of them got a different, like, protection, so.
That's a blue house.
There's the RV, yep. Alright. Here we go.
Between signs.
Hello. Hi, I'm Eric. Paranormal Endeavors. Nice to meet you. This is Carrie.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yep. Really freezing, so we'll go ahead and come on
Go right
in.
ahead, come on in. Quite a bit going on in here, and I'd have to say more along the lines of voices and sounds. I know about 2 months back we had a DVD VCR player sitting up here, and my wife, she had went and shut it off, but then she came back a few minutes later and it was turned back on. So she unplugged it, the lights went out, and then even with it being unplugged, she came back in here from doing the dishes, and the lights were back on.
Okay.
And this right around here, this we are going to make into the boys' bedroom. Some odd energy being in this room here.
Okay.
And when it comes time, and the children are old enough or older, we're going to make this our bedroom.
But if there is something, I'd like to make sure that everything negative is gone.
Yeah.
Because then I'm worried about kids.
Yeah, definitely. And with that too, I did bring some stuff, but you know, the disclaimer of the cleansing thing is that it works primarily in our research of doing these, the most successful with an intelligent type haunting, a lot of the time. Because if it's like, if you do it at a poltergeist case, well, that's the wrong kind of cleansing because the treatment that person needs is more psychological based. You know, so it might cleanse the energy in the house might feel a little bit better, but to them they might not feel that because it's still an internal process with them.
I did tell you on the phone one time that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I was in here doing the dishes, and both my boys were sleeping on the couch. And my youngest, I knew he had gotten up and he came to, we have a child gate right there in the doorway. He came to the gate, but I went and took him to lay back down, and came back in, started doing the dishes, and then I heard a little cough, but it was only probably about where you're standing. That's how it sounded. It was right there. Okay. Just has a feeling of I don't want to go down there.
Okay.
I will go down here, you know, if I have to, and things like that. Okay. I just want to make sure that there's not something attached to me too.
And that's what we were, yeah.
It was quite a few years ago, as I was telling you too, one other apartment I lived in out in Lakewood. I could sit on my couch and I would look at the door and I just knew. I couldn't see anything, but I just knew. I'm like, something's coming in.
Yeah.
And I could tell that if it was negative, it was just, at times, you know, the ones that weren't negative, it just felt like coming and going all the time. Yeah. I do know the town of Ruthven was founded in 1883. And the records I have is just, it doesn't say the house was involved in the exchange, but in 125 or 130 years, this property has changed hands 21 times. And even the founders of Ruthven itself, they owned this land. But the house, like I told you on the phone, my grandmother's live-in boyfriend, he's like 92 to 93 years old, and he said that ever since he was a kid, this house has been here. What's that? That rug's been there since I don't know who. We never brought it in.
Okay. When we went downstairs, there was a particular rug that just kind of drew our attention. And there has been known to be attachment to items, whether it's actual spirit attached to the items or just plain energy, whether it be negative or positive, that can be attached to the item as well. So I want to kind of focus on that rug and kind of keep that in mind and mention that to the client as well. I was going to ask, where'd this...
My brother made that.
Okay.
Because he was saying that my grandfather, on my mom's side, he used to, what is it, the Irish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he used to do a lot with that.
Okay.
And so my brother made that, what was that, 3 years ago for our wedding, shadow box. He gets affected quite a bit. He's got such a cough. His is worse than my wife's has been, and my oldest, Peter, or Josiah, his has been. And they didn't have that when we were out in Denver. It wasn't until after we moved in here that they started having lung problems. The doctors put them on just about every antibiotic they could. Nothing has helped, nothing has worked.
Yeah. But has the house been tested or looked at for whether it's carbon monoxide, lead, possibly, especially being an old house?
I haven't ever had it tested, which we've just been here since July.
Yeah.
I am a certified lead inspector. I know you don't know that.
I think you did tell me that.
Okay. It would be chipping paint. And I don't know what the effects are of lead if you're eating it. I just know that.
No.
Not good, though.
Yes. And you know that lead pipes are probably all the way through this house.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what we were leaning for, at least in terms of health-related things. Because, you know, it didn't sound like from going over the activity-wise that there was a lot of that had much influence over that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to think of keep level-minded and think of that, especially being an old house, what other factors there might be.
You know, if I'm having good dreams, my wife is having good dreams, yet the boys will wake up screaming in the middle of the night. And it has happened right here in this bed where they've gasped for air and just woke up and couldn't breathe. You know, my faith in the Lord, I'm very, very strong faith. That's why I've been, you know, like I talked to you on the phone, near-death experiences and all that stuff too. And with Josiah, us being told that he's a prophet and everything too. And
yeah, even I don't like it.
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol room.
Yeah, I call this the Crayola house.
Okay.
They had very interesting tastes and colors everywhere.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I feel with this place. I'm like, there's something in here that is much stronger than me, and I need help, kids.
Yeah. Well, from here we'll go ahead then and unload and try to get that set up in a quick manner before the flurries of Mother Nature starts striking in. And
maybe they'll miss us completely.
Yeah.
Hit Minnesota again.
Yeah. Okay, so back in here we have the laser grid, which is actually a very popular thing within the paranormal community. A lot of teams are using these now. And the theory is that when something maybe of mass or of solid value passes by these, it'll be like this. You see my shadow, except it'll actually be cutting out the laser beams. And we did something like this at Morris Mill, but we did it manually with like, I don't know, 50 different single laser pointers, but now they make these for ghost hunting especially. You walk by them and you can see the little shadow as my legs crossing it. And that's how it's supposed to work. And these also work great with fog machines. You can use it, and then that way you can see each individual light beam, so it's really cool.
I went downstairs with Eric.
Alright, so this is your first investigation with us. Are you still anxious?
Yep,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay. This is the obelisk. Okay. Sometimes there'll be a couple words or a few words that come through this that seem to be very baseline. The first session with Rappy went pretty good. I wanted to work with him and kind of get him worked into those EVP sessions. Are you here with us right now? Soldiers? Interesting. Alright, is there anybody down here with us?
So
Alright, we were getting chills, hints, and the furnace went on. Well, that is our vibration sound sensor, so that's me talking. So that's nothing. Are you connected to Justin? And it did seem sporadic. The activity would kind of come and go, but there would be some activity that would happen, and it would be kind of clustered, grouped together when it did happen. So it's kind of exciting moments there. Other than very sporadic energies, I'm not feeling too much down here.
Hi, my name is Rafi. There's anybody here? Are you a soldier? Can you say something? Well, I don't think he liked me.
It is very quiet here now.
Yeah.
We turned the Ovilus on and started saying words. That was amazing. Said a couple words. Then we started asking questions.
So not bad, but it's done like that. You know, you start out very broad. Some of us, well, like Alex, if you remember, well, if you see any of the earlier ones where we had investigator Alex, he always had some difficulty getting his own feel for doing his EVP session. But there's some people that do them with different style. But in general, if you draw on blanks, it's best to just try not to think of it as, oh, I'm talking to a wall.
I'm getting the chills now.
Yeah. So you're getting them.
Yep.
On your arm?
In my back. Actually.
In your back? See, kind of like me, it was on my back side.
My face.
Oh, what'd it say? Oh, pod went off again.
It says Papa.
Papa? Are you a child? I kind of was getting...
P-O-P-P-A. Like Papa.
Mm-hmm.
Felt the chills. It was kind of weird. It feels like somebody like touching you in the back of the neck and stuff.
Some chills that had happened, kind of some presences of some energy that kind of felt like it was kind of coming in and going out. The motion light on the pod went off a couple times. Are you seeing anything strange in that room?
I saw the motion light go off, but I'm not seeing anything strange.
I saw a shadow, but I'm fairly sure it was just the reflection off the flashlight on Eric going between the rooms. There's a square and it looks fairly like it was like a brick that it went through.
Oh, it's really bad, the chills, actually. Look at my...
Your hair standing up?
Yep. It's close.
Yeah. What did it say that time?
Almost.
Almost? Like almost? Like almost a kid, maybe? Are you a young adult, teenager, maybe? Alright, we're coming upstairs. And it was kind of cool because that motion light was going on. Originally, those lights were on constantly because you had it on the wrong setting. You had them as on.
You might want to check those in there then.
Instead of auto. Okay. Because they shouldn't be on all the time. Alright, I'll have to go in there and correct that. But what did you see then?
And I saw a light change up there too.
Yeah, so laser grid died and you said you seen maybe a shadow or something?
You were facing with your back here. Rafi was facing us forward with the camera, and there was a shadow to the left side or to the right side here.
Okay.
But it also looked like it was going through some of the bricks because there was actually a full square.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And then the minute you said I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
The motion detector on the right side.
Okay.
Came on.
Yeah.
And then we got up here, and then we had Running Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. I figured for this time, then I'll have maybe you and I will go upstairs.
All right.
And then I had him placed at the monitors, and then we started our second session.
Were you locked in here?
Verb. Human.
Did you like this room? Have you lived here a long time? Are there any American Indians connected to this house or this land? Did something happen outside? You said pine, grass.
I heard cicadas downstairs, but that was my gifts.
Grass, pine, melody. We're just here to help these people understand what's here. I think you already know that they know you're here.
With our second session, I had Carrie with me upstairs, and we had interaction using the new Obelisk 3 we have and the K2 meter, and we were starting to get some names that came up, like Peter and Paul, and then we had got some validation then with the client that Peter, there is a connection with that, because it's one of his son's names.
Were you out in a teepee or a tent, looking at the stars during the summer? Was this place beautiful without all the houses?
For audio, possible noise before she asked that last question.
Woods.
Woods. Outside nature again. There was a report of somebody wearing a cloak, maybe, or an overcoat.
And the people that were living here were involved in some negative, some people would say negative activities. I don't like to judge. I'm not sure yet how I feel about what I think it is.
While upstairs with Carrie, we were starting to get some responses back and forth, and sometimes at the same time with the K2 and the Obelisk 3 that were going off, and they were kind of coordinating each other, and we were getting information about kind, love, things of that nature, so maybe somebody trying to come through to let us know.
Are you watching over this family? War is enemy. Are you part of the military?
That's what Rafi asked too, if he was a soldier.
Or are we the enemy? That was interesting.
Oh. And the K2's going.
Why are we the enemy? Well, we talked questions. The Obelisk, I don't say it correctly, but also went off about the same time this would go off. Without both of them going off, I'm not sure I would have taken it very seriously. But they would go off together.
Are you trying to Morse code us? Oops, that's me. I don't know if that's
I don't either, but it was weird that it went off at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Justin had called us in to help him, trying to figure out what might be going on here. Also, in turn, we try to figure out what you might need, or what you want. If there's a message you have. We'll see here how session 3 goes.
My second session, I was watching the screen, or the DVR. When you guys get there, and you guys sit down on the floor, I saw one coming up, then coming down next to your legs, and then go this way, something this way. So
is that one of them?
That was to the left.
Sound like right over here.
yeah.
Okay, so that could have been them, because they're... No, they're over there.
No, it wasn't them.
They're over here.
What the heck was that?
So it was kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Down next to your legs, and then go this way, something this way.
That was to the left.
Something else.
He said he also heard the crinkling of
Oh
that,
yeah, here.
in the basement.
It
Crinkling
was
of
like,
that,
you know what?
Like the Oreo?
Yeah. It sounded like some. I thought it was the. I asked him it was something like rat or something.
We got some more connections to the outside through this. Like, remember when I was hearing the cicadas and stuff? Well, she thought she did a little bit up there. And then we were getting things like woods, summer, things like that through here, so.
And there shouldn't be any air movement downstairs in the basement to kick dust up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're dust or what. So I don't know if they're dust or what. That's what it was.
right here. Just right here. Yeah.
Alright, so we're starting to get noises, but that one we heard just before that was kind of...
Yeah,
that's not normal to the house.
That was right here. No.
Okay.
That was loud. And there's another one.
No.
Okay.
That was loud. And there's another one.
Is that you doing that? Is that you doing that?
Just right around the corner, brother.
Is somebody throwing like rocks? You know what?
It sounds like pebbles being... Are you hearing that?
And it sounds like somebody was throwing like rocks or something to the house. It was amazing. So
Want me to stay here and watch?
Stay right there for a minute.
Well, I got the chills.
I'm getting chills too.
Yeah.
Alright, are you in here making noises?
We heard you. That was kind of cool.
Coming through here when the Native Americans, when this territory was being taken over or being explored per se, they sent soldiers in and to kill a lot of the Native Americans.
War, enemy.
Yeah, ordered, and
That's connection to possible land
Woods.
story in the woods and what we were getting. Summer, locusts,
Melody,
Melody, Carol as well. Carol's.
and Peter.
they said Peter.
Peter and Paul.
I was just waiting for Mary. Not sorry.
Peter's my youngest son's name.
Okay.
Okay.
Josiah is my oldest. They're both biblical names.
Is somebody here with us?
Are you aware of the questions I'm not asking? I like that answer.
that was me.
The stars. Using nature the way it was supposed to
That
be.
was me. Thank you.
I heard that too. Did you have babies here?
Heard of earlier, but it's kind of elusive. It's kind of hit and miss. Why? Is
I
that
just
what
wondered.
are you getting at?
I just have a whole bunch of different theories.
Well, I have different possibilities so far that there is a connection here that's with him. But then the stuff that happened on the land, I'm getting two main bulk theories.
I'm getting both those.
Huh?
I'm getting both those.
Yeah. So there's some land activity that's here, and there's also some loved ones coming back, possibly with him.
Also, there could be some people attached to the house.
Yeah. Alright, during the last session with all of us together, not as much activity had happened, but Carrie as well also pointed out that rug and just didn't like it. Alright, so what's up with the rug?
I hate to tell you, if there was wild sex parties, that rug was used.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it just feel weird. I don't know how to describe. Probably because I don't know how to say it in English, but feel kind of weird.
Well, that's what you're thinking, that sex parties?
That rug was used, if there really was.
Well, none of us are getting the greatest feelings off of it, so...
If you guys aren't finding anything that I believe, is putting my children and my family at harm,
we're not getting anything, at least during this visit, and I also asked another one of our investigators who's also a pretty good psychic to do remote on this place from all the way, she's over in the Cedar Rapids area, and seeing, and she didn't get anything either that was like that, and pick up on anything aggressive, demonic, anything like that. If anything, there's some uneasy energies that do exist here, but not saying that that's that could be because of the stuff that may have took place here, especially in the basement. That's the hot zone.
Go down there with you, roll that carpet up, and take it outside.
Okay.
Take it out.
If you feel good with that, because just note that if there's something connected to that carpet, it's just kind of like the whole remodeling thing. You might endure some kind of a spike in activity if you remove it for a short period of time. The client has also had those feelings, just didn't really like that rug. decided with our confirmation to go ahead and get rid of that rug.
I truly have goosebumps, just so you know, on my arms.
Yeah, and I've kind of wondered about that carpet that they put in down there too, and that drywall also.
You had me stand in that rug. Didn't like it at all. The rug had issues.
Alright, this is audio, mobile audio. This is our last session down here. This is the session of removing the rug, and we also have the client down here too.
In the investigation, at the end, we get rid of the rug.
Is it my presence down here that makes you leave?
This thing back here.
Okay. Black stains on them.
Probably wrong, but I get the feeling everybody, even the spirits, are happy with you getting rid of that.
I'm removing this rug.
Little hit right there on the K2. Let's go with him, Perry.
Thursday is trash day, and that will go out with the trash.
It needs to go out with the trash. Sorry. The rug's gone. I think the spirits were happy with that.
I don't know. It feels now like, I don't know. It feels like normal, so feel pretty calm.
And I've had feelings at times like because the presence of the Lord is with me, but a lot of times when I go someplace, whatever's there scatters.
Yeah.
I will bounce some more off Eric to see if they're equal to what he says, because he's better.
Everybody has snowflakes. So everybody's a little different.
Everybody's a little different.
We got a little bit of, or I picked up a little bit on some possible teenager, but it was, I think, something with the history of the land or something, an energy that's imprinted here. Because we got child, then we got, it was with you, I was down there, and it was like older or something. It wasn't, it was like a young adult, and I said teenager, and then we didn't get a response after that, and predominantly this individual came to me. He was very slender, skinny, had like a mustache, kind of graying, and he came through to me in his 60s, and he was balding, and so that was primarily it. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff coming through there. And all of us at some point throughout the night didn't really enjoy that rug too much. There's an energy off of that we had detected, and it just was like, it was kind of peculiar, it was odd, it was out of place.
And as we rolled it up, I myself as a law enforcement investigator and insurance investigator, I was checking it too. I saw the black on there, which, like she said, was mold, but I was also checking for possible blood stains or anything like that. You know, something that rug was holding on to.
Yeah.
Well, and if you say that they used to do some pretty bad things down there, that rug was not used nicely.
Yeah. That's just the same as the drywall and all the rest of that stuff's down there. You know, if I could, I would love to just tear it down.
But thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
You guys so much for coming by, and I look forward to hearing the results.
Yep. Let you know soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready? Well, it was pretty amazing. I like it. I like to feel like I can help people. Well, I'm learning right now, but how to help people, but I like the feeling.
Overall, the investigation went well. I think Rafi will be a nice asset to the team. It takes quite a bit, he says, to scare him, so none of that. He didn't run screaming, he didn't run soiling his pants, so that's good. That's good. So we got the request of assistance by a fellow colleague and peer of mine, a founder of CIPI, Central Iowa Paranormal Investigator. He wanted us in there because after series of some investigations most recently that he's had, he's felt like there's some kind of attachment possibly with him. Especially after the last one that he went to, he really felt and believes that there's to be attachment with him, and he wants us to go in there. He wants a second opinion. There's been some things that's kind of been an ongoing process. Would you start with a little bit of what happened first with that most recent occurrence?
This cup, the way it's up here, I mean, it would actually have to be pulled out, and it's actually came off the fridge and flown at me, I guess, if you would. Another mug I collected, or glass mug here, and it actually was sitting where this candy jar is right here, and it has came off multiple times.
If there's anything you can think of, I know you said something about Ouija board. When was the first time that you used one of those?
It was back when, heck, I think it was back when I was probably 13, 14 years old. As I was walking back toward the living room, I was walking through here, and with sandwich and pop in hand, I kind of just stopped right here because I seen something that looked normal this way. The upper torso of a shadow, kind of just, no face or anything, just black. I mean, a black mass. And it's looking out. And then, all of a sudden, I mean, this is all within 5-10 seconds, it just kind of sucked away into the bathroom. We done an investigation in Central Iowa, and I probably noticed things starting to happen a week or two after the investigation. What I would say probably the first thing I could pick out was my wife and I were laying down in the living room, just hanging out, and I started to doze off, and I noticed I was hearing a male voice in the hallway, and then I heard another male who was more angrier than this other guy, and then I heard a female, and they were kind of, the two guys were kind of arguing about something, but I couldn't make it out because it was just kind of gibberish, and so I tried to wake Kelly up, and when I tried waking her up, it stopped, obviously, and she didn't hear any of this. When she'd fall back asleep, I started to hear this again. So I kind of said, hey, you need to get out of here. Leave me and my family alone now. And I didn't hear it after that.
The paranormal, just like any other hobby, interest, field that one gets into that has risks associated with it, there's dangers associated with. And so I think this part of it is not really shown too much, especially in a lot of shows and movies that are out there now, of the effects of the paranormal on individual researchers, teams, that kind of thing. So Mike had agreed to share some of this, what we can, to the general public, to kind of be a warning to those about, hey, this is what's going on here, this can happen.
A few minutes later, I heard what sounded like pots and pans being moved around, and I heard a big crash, like a big bang, and I went out there, and we had some pots and pans that were in the bottom cupboard, and they were stacked nicely so they wouldn't fall out, and we had 3 or 4 of them kind of scattered on the floor. And I thought that wasn't normal, and it never happened again after that. Like, whatever this black shadow was, you could see it pulling her, and she was screaming for me in her dream, but I wasn't waking up.
Okay.
I was hearing her screaming and crying in her sleep. I reached over to her and started shaking her, and, you know, kind of giving her the nudge a little bit, like, hey, you need to wake up. She wouldn't wake up. She kept screaming and begging for me to help her, but she would not wake up. Finally, it just kind of released, I guess. She woke up, and she couldn't sleep the rest of the night. She wouldn't sleep.
I know several of my friends and colleagues in this field who reach a point to where they second guess. They're like, okay, well, I have family, I have kids, is this really worth doing it? Is this really worth the risk? Going over the background and history of what, because even when I started working with you earlier on, you talk about things that affected you and stuff like that, and so it gave me an idea that you're more vulnerable for some reason. I know that you're kind of thinking if you're going to continue in this field or not, kind of reevaluating if you want to do this or not.
You know, just because of a lot of stuff that happened back in November, December, and January of this last year here, it really opened my eyes to, again, you know, what is out there, and reevaluating everything. I don't know, you know. I continue to want to help people, and I think that maybe I made a mistake by, you know, going to some of these bigger locations around that you can pay to go to, is what I'm telling myself. And maybe I should have stuck with just, you know, focusing on helping people. You know, that's why I started doing what I'm doing, and that's why I have people on the team. A lot of times when I come in to use the restroom or come in to brush my hair, I get a weird feeling of like sadness in here, and I don't know why. Sometimes it's overwhelming to where if I come in here to use the restroom, I cut it off quick and get out, just because it's just a heavy feeling sometimes in here. It's not constant, but I mean it's more times than none. So during the time period of November to January there, last year, with all the arguing and just, you know, all the issues that Kelly and I were having, it was all me, I believe. This was none of her fault. I started to get depressed a lot, and I fell into a deep depression, and I feel that something was influencing me or kind of nudging me toward the thought that, you know, of suicide.
You know, because you do become more vulnerable, I've noticed over the years, at moments that you might have weaknesses in your life, moments of vulnerability, like job loss, eviction.
Me being selfish enough to do something stupid like that, but at the time I didn't realize what was going on with whatever it was, and I didn't realize at the time it was possible that something could influence me to do that.
It's very dangerous sometimes, and this doesn't always help when you're going through situations you already have going on in your life.
I put my foot down and I told it, you need to get the hell out of my house. You're not welcomed here. You're not allowed to influence me again, or, you know, or harm my family. And you're messing with the wrong guy. And I keep praying, and, you know, I said 20 or some different prayers, and after that last prayer that I said a week and a half later, I left to go to the store. I came home, and I just felt really at ease. I felt more comfortable being here. There's a lot of precautions that you have to take, so my story won't happen to you. And unfortunately it happened, and, you know, things are better at home, and, you know, things are really a lot better at home, and, you know, I'm married to my best friend, and we love each other unconditionally. We didn't let this come between us as far as a divorce or anything.
Another thing that he had said also is because a series of family members were having particular dreams about the same individual, who was his great uncle who had passed a few years back, that he's coming through, and the message is kind of similar in all the dreams so far that he heard of from his family members. Just not pleasant, threatening in nature, that kind of thing. So that's another avenue we're working with.
Is that you? Harry, are you here? What was that noise? Is that you? Harry, are you here? What was that noise?
Was that your camera? No. Did you hear it sound like a... Did you follow Mike home? Are you attached to him? Or farmer? Country? Something with the rural country. What is your name, please? Are you in this hallway somewhere with us? Did you follow me home from Edinburgh Manor?
It's like choking up. I don't know what's going on with my throat.
So this initial visit kind of narrowed some things down, kind of worked on it. It's going to be a work in progress. I have always found that the more you know, or the more things that you find out about it, or simply getting a message across from a spirit, a lot of times the activity will go away on its own, and cleansing isn't even needed. So coming back here perhaps will be the next thing. I'll do, continue it, and if Kelly's able to be here too to get more information off of her, but see if you find out more history of the house. That's kind of the gray area we're working on too, because it's like, well, it's not too much to go off of from that aspect other than stuff we pick up, but there's no validation for it, so that kind of sucks. All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And,
no problem.
Can't wait to hear more.
Yeah. Working on some of the background for Mike, figuring out some of his history, and digging into some personal things, which we will not include all in this documentary or in this series because of the nature of the content and the personal aspects related to it. We're making some progress, figuring out some of the things that had happened to him in the past and things that he might have done in the past to help make himself a little more vulnerable to attachments. Alright, with Kim still dealing with some of her own personal issues going on, our search for case manager has come to a close, and we have decided to go with an investigator named Mary, who will be joining our team as a full-time case manager. She's very excited, and we did go ahead and extend an invite to an individual named Jeff, who will just be joining us as a field researcher. So welcome them aboard.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting both and seeing how they mesh with our team.
So now I'm the case manager. I'm really excited about this one because I love talking to people, getting the information, and I think it's going to be a really good fit.
Mary's drive and interest in learning about all aspects of the paranormal and setting up cases for us, I think will be a great asset to our team, and we shall see. Hopefully she'll do a great job at this.
I think this is where I need to be in the team.